Hello and welcome to the Shaping Digital Classes tutorial on assessment, in particular feedback and planning using Google Forms. Okay, you'll have to have a Google account to be able to use Google Forms. Once you've set up your free Google account, you can either search Google Forms or you can come to the Google Apps and come to your Drive. In my Drive, you'll see I've created a whole load of folders, including a demonstration folder. Let me just click on that. So within my demonstration folder, I've got another folder marked Google Forms. I'm going to add a new form using the plus button. Scrolling down, we have the Google Forms app. Here we can start with a blank form. I'm going to write up here, topic 1. Topic 1 can be whatever you want it to be about, whatever your subject is. About the subject. It's a little bit of description. If I click over here on the left where it says Untitled Form, by just clicking on it, it transfers the topic 1 title that I've typed in here and popped it over here. Now my first question, and I'd recommend this to everybody, is to write the responder's name, and we're going to change from multiple choice, which is the default model, to a short answer text. So now everybody needs to respond, so it's a required response to that question. Let's just go through our little tools. So we can add questions. So our next question which we're going to add could be from a range of short answer questions, a paragraph answer question, a multiple choice, check boxes, drop down list. We can add some files, a picture or a video to support the question, a linear scale, a multiple choice grid, a tick box grid, or a date and time. So actually if we wanted to put a date and time that the student is doing this, we can add those two boxes as questions also. Okay, over here on the right hand side we can add questions, so there's our list of questions that we can choose from. We can import questions. If you've already created a really good survey or questionnaire and you want to use that, you can import that. We can add further titles and descriptions, add images and videos as I've already said, and we can add sections. This is quite useful if you're doing a number of different topics, so we can title section 2, topic 2, about more stuff. Obviously this is just a practice one, so yours would be more serious questions than this. Okay, so within this, what else have we got over here? So you can continue to build your evaluation questions. You can change the theme of the colour scheme, you can change the background, and you can change the font style. You can choose a photograph or an image to pop into the header, which is also quite nice. This preview button opens the survey in a new window, and you can see the questions and the box which would go to the next section. So if I just type my name, you'll see that I can now go to the next section. Once I've submitted my form, the students will, we can set it so that the students can receive a message saying that their form has been received. So let's just close that window because all we've done is viewed the window. So we're going to leave it because we don't need to save anything. We've not answered any questions. So that brings us back to our working document. Once we've completed our questions, we're happy with our theme and our images, we know it looks nice to the students, we can come back to the settings. If we wish, we can collect email addresses from the responses. We can send a receipt that they have received, that we've received their forms. We only want them to submit one answer, so i.e. we can limit their number of responses from that email address. You can change that so they can edit their responses if they want to change their minds. And you can also edit so that they can see the summary charts and text responses, which is useful if you're doing surveys and want to share data. We can also show a progress bar, which is quite useful if you've got a fairly long evaluation form. You can also shuffle the questions, which is quite a fun thing to do. And here you can change your response the confirmation message. So the students in this instance will get a message saying your response has been received. And another fun element is we can make this a quiz by just clicking on that button, and we can release the mark immediately or later. So you can do a manual review of the questions, and then you can change this so that the respondents can see different sections of the quiz. Okay, so we've set up our questions. In the response area, you'll see if the deadline has passed, you might want to click the Not Accepting Responses button. You might want to create a spreadsheet out of the data, or you might want to download the responses so you can look at them in a different format. I've got one I've completed earlier. Let's have a look over here. So what you can see is in the responses, I'm going to just flick down to this section. So you can see we've got some nice visuals which really help with analysing. I find you can see very clearly where the responses lie. This is showing the group answers. You can see it says 6 responses to the questions, and also up here it tells me how many people have responded. I can also look at the individual responses, so I can look at per responder and see how they've responded to the question. So I can really think about giving feedback which is differentiated to each person, as well as identifying areas which might show that the class need a bit more learning on a certain topic or area within that topic. So that was really useful because it allows us to give really good feedback about the responses. So it really can help us clearly do some summative assessments at the end of a topic, or formative assessments midway through or at the end of a lesson. So there we have it, Google Forms for feedback and planning. So from here we can now, we've created our forms, we know how to do that, we know how to look at the responses and do bespoke personalisation of feedback, and we can now think about moving forward. What have we learned for our own teaching and delivery? Well, we can use what we've learned to help plan future lessons, recap sessions, and even plan for the next time we deliver that topic. I hope you've enjoyed watching.